Passing through the veil of mystery, seeking answers no one is brave to ask. This is Bound to Truth.
Hey everybody, Chris Lopez again from Bound to Truth. You are now going to listen to part 2 of Gary White and Randy Bauer's conversation in regards to Bigfoot and extraterrestrials. Now you're probably looking and saying, wait a minute. Chris, you're wearing the same shirt. Your hair's tied back. What, you just randomly did that, or was that a purpose? Actually, I'm recording after I did the first part for the first episode, just to be efficient. Yeah. Or maybe you just didn't care and just didn't even notice. But anyways, that's just my OCD mind to give you some clarification. So this is a great finalized episode between Gary and Randy, but also Kodi as well. He shares some really good thoughts. That if you haven't heard about Kodi's story, definitely go back a few episodes, look for Kodi Wright. Great guy, great dude, and really complimented the second part of this episode. And again, how can you reach us? bound234@gmail.com, Facebook, not Instagram. I'm still working on it. I have a beef with Instagram. I don't know why. Anyways, X, YouTube, Spotify, Buzzsprouts, Audible, and other platforms that you enjoy to listen to. Please hit the subscribe buttons. Definitely smash that button. Be a follower on the show, but not a follower. Be a contributor. Be part of this journey that we're all in together. The more you guys hit the subscribe button, the bigger the platform that expands to everybody out there. And of course, the bound234@gmail.com. If you want to share your stories, thoughts, concerns, interests, or to be a guest on the show, would love to have you on. Thank you for watching this second part. God bless, and as always, see you on the other side. Good night.
You know what? Before Gary gives his thoughts, just to let you know, so Kodi with me and John Hershey, we are doing another film on a cave. It's a very secret cave in Mount St. Helens, and we had some time displacement that happened. It's on film, and that was very similar to what you're saying, especially when it comes to the footstep not being there and so forth. But there was other things that were there that you would somebody should have put something in there, like there was extra markings and so forth that came out of nowhere, and so it's interesting that you say that. And by the way, when this film comes out, just a little something for you guys. This cave itself, this ground cave, has been investigated by NASA, and Kodi here found some unredacted stuff that even puts more light into it. I'm not taking away from you guys, but I just want to say that we understand similar. It's what Kodi and I were having a little sidebar conversation. So very interesting. But anyways, Gary, what's your thoughts on that, buddy?
Well, before he goes, I went back there the next day, there's no new teepee there. There's no teepee there at all. There never was one there. And I got to tell you this one time, this here too. There's been times now after that happened to me, I've been thinking about it. I've been in that same area, and all of a sudden I don't recognize nothing. And I know those woods good. I get panicky feeling. I got to get my compass out and make sure I'm going. And I've had a couple native guys there from one of the reservations and one of the medicine man, and they don't like that area. They feel real uncomfortable. I've never had that feeling. Even now I don't get that feeling, but that happened. What's your take on that?
I think one thing we need to keep in mind with these interdimensionals and Sasquatch, NHI, they're interdimensionals. Their natural state is not the physical. Their perception of time isn't linear like ours. It's a whole. Okay, and once again, it goes back to this molecular manipulation. They could manipulate the molecules of a person an animal, a car, and it's just like missing time. I've been through this missing time where me and a buddy of mine are coming back from Oakland to Stockton, and all of a sudden we're 3 exits past where we were supposed to go. They could basically speed up molecules. It's there, but you can't physically touch it. It's not physical. Move it, slow down the molecules, and it's there. They could place you guys wherever they want you to be.
Yeah,
they could steer you away from area.
And you know what, too, Gary, to add to that about the time displacement that we had, when we were walking that cave, so it was our second trip for John and I, his first time for Kodi.
I walked several other caves in the area, though.
Yeah, he walks, yeah, and I'll tell you this, when we got to the spot we were trying to get to, it took us an hour and a half quicker to get there. I was like, how the hell did we get here so quick? It was bizarre. It was bizarre.
Yes.
And we have film on both the first venture and the second venture. Sorry, I wanted to say, like, again, that's what happened to us. And I'm wondering too, and your thoughts on this too, Gary, because like I said, this is why I like having you guys connect, because Randy has all these fantastic experiences with these beings, and then you and your history and what you've researched is, what if not just an addition, or in regards to molecular control, what if it's like seed planting in the mind, seeing something that is like, for you, Randy, that you thought was there, but it wasn't? I don't know. Any thoughts with that with you guys? Gary, you go first on that.
So you're talking creating an illusion?
In a way,
They could absolutely do that, Christopher. These beings, what you got to keep in mind, man, these beings are realistically 1 million years ahead of us as far as development. We're in kindergarten. They're basically at a PhD. They have one more step and they're going to be what we perceive to be God. So something like that is just child's play to them. And they could absolutely do that.
And they did that to us just to mess with us. Is that probably correct?
They could. My opinion, Randy, there's a purpose behind it. It's like the urination thing. It's not just to mess with you. It's not just to destroy your stuff. They're trying. This is what was explained to me. Universal law, they can't come in and directly change our decision-making process. Mm-hmm. We learn from the ramifications of our decisions. So they can nudge us and nudge us and nudge us in a direction. Just like this. I'm going to go pee on his stuff. Maybe he's going to catch the hint. Maybe he's going to change his ways. Mentally, you put 1 and 2 together. You said yourself, you kind of felt what you were doing was wrong and you changed. You see what I'm saying? It's all change.
You know what, Gary? You just brought up a great point, too. So Randy asked that question. He talked about how Bigfoot gives that foul smell, but then you can't smell it, right? And then what Gary's saying, like, with killing animals, so forth, that, moment of urinating on your stuff, do you think that they didn't actually urinate? Do you think that was something they planted in a way?
Could be.
I'm just again, yeah, you know what I'm saying, Gary? Yeah.
My opinion, what they're going to do is what works best to get across to Randy. Whether he thinks it's urine or it's a chemical, he's nature. He's hunting. He's dealing with Sasquatch. So they're going to use urine because that's part of the physical. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
I just thought of something. I never thought of this before. When I was out in the woods hunting there, I always used buck urine, buck scent. I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, and it's sour smelling.
Well, what you're doing is you're hunting, and it attracts. That's an attractant, correct?
Yep.
I'm not a hunter.
Yeah, that's an attractant. Yeah, doe and heat, doe estrus.
Okay, so let me ask you, Randy. Do you use this scent type thing when you're hunting?
Yes, I do.
Hey, Randy.
So right there, that
just came to me.
Hand in hand.
Yeah.
So, Randy, here's a question for you. How do you compare the scent from, Bigfoot NHI to the buck scent?
Say that again, the stuff that was peed on my bed?
Yeah, compared to the buck scent.
Oh, just as sour, just as bad. Just as bad. You go buy a bottle of doughy estrus in heat, smell it. It's not good. It's not good at all.
Wow.
That's out of my world. I've never hunted, so I've read about it. I've read hunting magazines, and I got a lot of buddies that have hunted and have told me about this, but I've never experienced it.
Yeah, and then it's so bad that if you're trying to put it on your little wick to hang in the trees, if you get it on your hands smell like that all day long. It doesn't just wipe off.
Sure.
So, guys,
I'm sure.
Before you continue, another reason why I brought Kodi here, he's amazing. I want him to share his experience in regards to connection with the lights and like Bigfoot and so forth, and just to kind of, and that's another reason why I brought it here, because there's something that kind of connects the two potentially in a way. Go ahead and take it on, man.
All right, so I kind of grew up in the woods. I'm a hunter myself, so I know all about the deer scent. And there's a lot of connections that you guys have made for me to make me feel like this may be an NHI experience and not just interdimensional or extraterrestrial. Right, so there's this boys camper, old Boy Scouts camps that's since been abandoned. Right, I went up there, I was tripping on acid and, doing things that I shouldn't do, shooting guns, things like that. And I seen lights. Right, like from across the lake, there was lights, like white orbs, or what I thought was flashlights. Tripping on 4 cabs acid, and there's an orb going through the woods around the lake, coming towards us at speeds that no animal or human can go. Right. And keep in mind, we're up here shooting guns, right, doing things that we should not be doing in this area. And before the orb reached us, I heard a voice in my head saying, "You need to leave or get out." Right? So I made that connection from you because I just thought it was like myself telling me like something is about to happen. So I took off running. There was what sounded like a bear on 2 feet running through the woods, sticks breaking, so on and so forth. Like it was coming at us pretty quick. And I ran cross-country, track and field, stuff like that, so I'm pretty quick myself. My buddy, he's a heavier set fellow, bigger than Chris, no offense. He's a heavier set fellow, and he doesn't run very fast. So like at one point, I thought that he had fallen, and he did not. He was still just a good distance behind me. But I was still hearing it, and so was he, but he was hearing it behind him, and I was hearing it behind me. And we also experienced, once we got out of the trail, a vehicle coming up on us, and they were wondering where we were and so on and so forth. I was hiding in the bushes. But I do feel like now that maybe this is what I was experiencing with the NHI.
That's what it sounds like, yep.
I would definitely like to pick both of your guys' brains about that and see how maybe you guys feel about it.
Yeah, I think
To me, Kodi.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Randy.
Oh, I don't have a lot to say about it. I mean, it sounds like a Sasquatch to me.
Go ahead, Gary. You both are sensitive.
See, to me, it sounds like NHI. I was with you, Randy, up until Kodi. You said that you're running. He's at one point, you're at one point, but it sounds like it's behind both of you. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like this, and they do this to me a lot. They'll put sounds, they'll put smells, just like with what Randy said. This group of people, they didn't want him there, so they put the stench in them. Okay, he doesn't experience that because he's got a relationship with them that's cool. But to me, it sounds like NHI. You say that you're doing things that you weren't supposed to be doing out there. Are you talking about the LSD or other things?
So we were up there on acid. Like we took the acid on our way out there because there's a shooting range out there. So we took our guns out there, rifles, shotguns, handguns, so on and so forth, out there to go shoot while we were on acid. Right, and I did smell what smelled like when a doe urinates when she's in heat. Right, and that's why I had Chris ask that question if it was a similarity. because it kind of just clicked in my head. I was like, I smelt that. But that I also smelt it right after I heard in my head for me to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, what I'm getting at is the LSD thing might have been something you were supposed to do, because certain drugs, just like with Native Americans, the Yaqui Indians down in South America, they use peyote mushrooms, mescaline, and they do the mixture of this. I'm reading a book right now called The Teachings of Don Juan by Carlos Castaneda, and that's what it's about. He's studying with a medicine man that's using the practices before the Spaniards came and kicked on everyone, and changed their spiritual practices. So, hey, the LSD could have been to open your mind to certain things, Kodi. I mean, it's definitely known to do that. And what is it, MDMA, I think they call it?
Yeah,
I'm familiar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
a lot of drugs will.
I've done peyote. I've smoked it. I've eaten it. I've done a lot of acid, mushrooms, MDMA, Molly, so on and so forth. I've done just about every psychedelic you can get your hands on. And I could tell stories for days about my experiences on those. But this one story in particular resonates a lot with your guys' topic.
Gotcha. Yeah, to me it sounds like NHI. But then again, I mean, how about this? I think it's a very fine line between NHI and the Sasquatch. I mean, you just look at the reports, they just parallel each other so much. I've thought this for years. It's just, they're elusive like the UFOs. Yeah, it's a fine line in my opinion.
Well, you look at the native, right? So Kodi's also native as well, even though he's pale as hell.
Yeah.
But you also look at the natives and the history. Kodi was sharing about the story about how the Sasquatch, Bigfoot, and the natives would hunt together, right?
They would hunt together. They would hunter-gatherer situations and stuff like that.
Right. And so, but also too, you hear the natives talk about the sky people, right? They talk about that, and there's a lot of cave drawings in regards to, the typical gray aliens you would take and look about, right? I mean, that's not just here in America. It's all over. It's all over the planet. Heck, what is it? Look at the Grand Canyon. Even though you can go to the Grand Canyon, a lot of it's closed off. Even though you can go into the water and rafting, but the temples down there. Yeah, temples down there. A lot of things that can change a lot of history. That they're saying it looks Egyptian graphic. However, it's something completely different that would change history itself. And we all know. And again, I know Gary and Randy. Gary, for you're not going down the whole government system, I totally respect. And Randy, you're like, I'm not putting absolute truths out there. But there's a lot of it's totally cool. But there's in addition to the government, you've got a lot of things with the Smithsonian that are talking about 99% of it they don't put out to the public because how it can change history. It's almost like, again, it's like we'll tell what's real, but we're going to try to control that narrative, right? Type of thing to keep us complacent, to keep us compliant without free thinking. And I think you both can agree. I'm that cusp between. I graduated in 2000 from high school, and I was right before the internet got really, really strong, and how social media and all this stuff, and you look at AI and how things are coming out to really control that narrative, and how things have changed, and how everything's gospel truth on social media, where it's like, what happened to free thinking? What happened to research? That type of thing. It's almost like you got complacent. It's like, oh, it's telling me this, so that's got to be true. It's like, oh, I'm going to question it to see if it's true, type of thing. I'm hurt. Yeah, question everything, right? Type of thing. It's like I'll take the information. I want to digest it, not just eat it and swallow it. I want to enjoy the meal that I'm taking. I might like it, I might not. But does that make sense to both of you guys in that way?
Yes,
it does. It does, Christopher. Like I've mentioned, you just said I don't get caught up in the government-related thing, and this This may be off topic, but I don't know if any of you have noticed and it's just on Facebook. You're not seeing it on the news, but in the past 2 days, they got all these pictures of this red planet.
You know what? I know Well, I know there's a lot of, well, I know I've been hearing a lot about the whirlwind of 2027, right, coming around. But the red planet, I don't know anything about too much. I know about, planet Nibiru. I've heard about that, planet, or planet X. But can you elaborate a little bit, Gary? What do you mean the red planet?
Well, that's what they're claiming it is. I was going to send you a couple videos, and there's one of them it's pretty dang convincing. It shows this red planet, and then the moon is up here, and the sun's setting over here. And it's just like, come on, this is something, because once again, without going into the whole government thing, I'm going to say this. Every civilization on this planet has collapsed. Look at the ruins around the world. We got things we cannot explain. Look at where we're at with society right now. The intentions of humanity upon humanity are horrible. You got serial killers, you got missing kids, human trafficking, wars, all of this going on. It's kind of like the yin and the yang as a balance, because we're learning this complete human understanding, what it is to be human. You got to have good and bad. You can't learn the good without learning the bad. You know what I'm saying? But it's all out of whack. And then you throw in the freaking...
And the good won't seem good unless you have the bad. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How would you know, Randy? You wouldn't know good if you didn't experience bad. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. And is that what this Nibiru is the thing that's going to trigger I think I mentioned this last time we talked, Christopher. Kali Yuga. Did I talk about Kali Yuga? No. Kali Yuga is the yugas are the 4 cycles of the earth according to Hinduism. The earth keeps going in these 4 cycles. Kali Yuga is the final cycle. This is what they call death and rebirth. It's what my guides refer to as the recycle reset. That's what they've said since 70 years. We've been going through this great awakening. It's increasing. There's more sightings. They went from a flying saucer to a triangle, to a tic-tac, to orbs, to plasma orbs, to jellyfish. They keep changing shape because people keep saying, oh, it's the government creating these. And it's not the government creating these. That's why they keep changing this shape. It's been building. This is the Great Awakening, which happens just before this recycle.
It almost
recycle has to happen.
Well, it sounds like, thinking about like 2012, right, with the Mayan calendar, that the recycle of civilization, right? And it's funny, it's when you talk about mention that is, I watch entertainment. I know you guys watch entertainment. We're all musicians here, right? But when I look at like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, E.T., I look at Independence Day. I look at this movie called Dark City. Matrix and all that stuff. Even with the Marvel movies, when it talks about multiverses and extra dimensional type of things, right? It's almost like there's this plan. It's like a soft. Hidden in plain sight. Yeah, it's like hidden in plain sight. Soft launch. Exactly, a soft launch type of thing, where it's like, oh, it's just like what we experience in movies type of thing. It's almost like there's a controlled narrative. We'll make it entertaining, but at least it's not hopefully unfamiliar in a way. Right. I mean, that's to me far-reaching. But again, when I go back to the movie Dark City, I don't know if you guys heard that movie, but basically it was a movie about, and I know Balthazar talked about this years back with George Knapp, but how these entities. So this movie Dark City was about this like 1920s, 1930s, where people were in this city that's always dark and nighttime, but then there was missing time that was going on, and that was controlled by these alien beings. Now, I'm not trying to say they're nefarious. I'm just talking about the movie itself. But what they were looking for is the human soul. They were looking for the human soul. And, of course, this guy eventually developed this ability to figure out how to kind of fight them on a psychic level and so forth. And he realized that they weren't on a planet. They were on a big-ass ship, And one of the lines of the movie I liked at the end was like, if you're looking for the human soul, it's not in here. It's in here. And I love that too. And the reason why I was bringing up Balthazar, because people always bring up Balthazar. He was the one who called out Area 51 that came out you know, and of course it's a real thing. But there was a small piece that people missed, was that he was talking to George Knapp about how there's this thick document talking about how aliens, what we call aliens, when we were evolving the term NHI, created a religion. And the whole point of it was to protect what was called our containers. Containers of what? Balthazar was saying, I'm not sure. The soul, right? So I don't know if that makes sense, and kind of want to get your guys' thoughts on that.
Well, what I've learned, the container, and my guides have mentioned this container. Containers are our bodies. That's what a container is. And this is what they've explained me. We're in kindergarten. We're learning what it is to be physically human. These beings, the gongole with the big bug heads in the eyes, they've been through the complete human understanding. They're learning to develop the physical bodies, the containers, okay, vehicles. They've used these different terms. Then you have the Palladians, which look exactly like us. These are my guides. I've been face to face with these beings several times. I don't know until it's all done and over with, but they are the overseers. They're controlling where the genetics that they're developing on this planet are going to be used, but they're also, more importantly, they're working on developing the soul at a soul level, how the soul attaches to the body through a reincarnation process and learns through multiple lifetimes, and it's all attached to a container. You see what I'm saying? And they would be Mongolay, they would be their master's degree, and like the Sasquatch, they would be in high school, where we're in kindergarten. You see, and it just goes on. There's supposedly 78 forms of mental and physical understanding that we go through to get to where these Palladians are at, to where they use 100% of the human mentality, brain. It's where we got a left, right, half, and we don't use them. Some people say, dude, you're wrong. They've discovered we use 100%. Yeah, we use bits and pieces. I don't think we use 100% of the human brain. And we're definitely right, left, half. They use it as a whole. It takes all of these different levels. Each one of these 78 levels has a different dimension that's parallel to this physical plane and our dimension where we go when we die in between lives, and then evaluate it. I've learned this lesson. I've learned this lesson. I need to come back and learn this. See what I'm saying?
No,
it's all a big. What they call the bigger picture.
Well, for me, I'm a
what they call it.
For me, I'm a dumbass. But I think for me, if I'll say that I'm at the stage of being a toddler where I'm just overly inquisitive. I have a lot of questions without understanding, which to me is great. You know, people like, you know, I have OCD, where it's like always being perfect. And I realize that's not about perfection; it's about progression, right? Because
you know what this is, Christopher, and you're correct. Okay, because your soul ages lifetime by lifetime, just like we're aging by year. When you die, you go through these levels. I could go deep in. I think, as a matter of fact, last time we talked, was it you or was it a different podcast that they asked what happens to us when we die?
I think
I could go deep.
I have to look it up. I think it was the last podcast with John.
It might have been, because you die. You go into the lower astral planes. Okay, this is where you go when you astral travel, when you dream at night, when you sleep. You die. You first go into these lower astral planes. This is where you can experience heaven and hell. Okay, people get stuck. They're confused. They don't know where to go. And then it sounds like Hollywood, but there's a white light. You have to go through the white light. That takes you to the next lower astral level. Lower astral plane. You go through the white light. At this point, you have a realization of the truth. You judge yourself, what you learned, your actions, the ramification of your actions. These are the lessons I've learned. Time isn't linear no more. It's more of a whole. And you realize I've lived, with me, it's 1,400 some odd lives. And this is what I've learned in these lives. Now, this is what I need to learn. You go to a pre-birth meeting with what we perceive to be God, which guides you, helps you make this decision. You enter a soul contract. You're born back into a life, which is kind of ironic that when you're born, what do you come and you're screaming and crying? Because from what I'm to understand, it's a lot harder being born than dying.
Man, I agree
But
with what you're saying. That's interesting.
Huh?
I agree with what you're saying. Yeah.
It's and you know what? To be honest with you, they've told me we all know this. This is what they call the logos. We know this on a subconscious level. So I'll tell people just like you, and you go, I believe you. I get it. It rings. That's because you know this already. You know it subconsciously.
I
You're
agree
just
with that
being reminded, man.
This is really weird. There'll be sometimes I'll be watching some show. I don't even know what the show would be. And all of a sudden I'll get this overwhelming tears come in my eyes and I don't even know why. It's my subconscious soul feeling bad. It's not me that I know of. Is that correct way to put it?
That's your higher self.
Yeah, because I was
That's
like,
your true self.
I got these tears.
It's that intuition, I think you're talking about, like that.
Yeah.
That human intuition that's like something doesn't feel right. And it could
Right,
be
because Terry will say, what do you got them tears in your eyes for? I don't know why. Yeah, I know
So
that.
you hear these therapists and psychologists talk about your subconscious. What happens when you're born? Your soul splits in two. So your conscious mind goes in with your brain, your physical body. Your true self or subconscious is right there next to you. That's your subconscious. That knows the whole bigger picture. And that's what you're saying. That's what you're tapping into.
Sure.
And at night when you sleep, it comes together as one. When you're dreaming, that's your true state. That's why a lot of people go, oh my God, I had this dream. It was just so real. Everything, it just was like realer than reality. That's because it is, man. That's your reality.
That's okay.
This whole physical thing, show me one thing physical that's going to last forever.
Right. Yeah, I guess. Right. I don't know. Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing. No.
Your soul does. Your soul's going to continue on. And not only your soul, when we start this human understanding, we're part of a bigger entity that was, as say, 1,000 souls as a group learning. You fragment off into individuals. You learn this complete human understanding. You come back together. You move on for these other levels of understanding to get to where these Palladians are at. And they're basically God.
Uh-huh. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, is that why?
No, go ahead.
I can hear chords. I play keyboard and sax. I've been on road 47 years. All I've ever done is play in a band. I can hear a chord before I know what they're going to be, and I can just pretty much do it, even if I don't know the song. Is that why would that be? Is that just a gift, or what is that?
It's not a gift. It's previous life development.
That's what I thought.
Is what it is. Let me give you. Okay, so check this out. Mozart. Okay, yep. Mozart was what? Writing concertos as a little boy. You're talking what? Yeah. They say that guy was like 3 years old. He's writing full concertos. Come on, man. When I was 3 to 6 years old, I was drooling on myself, being a little kid, like Christopher says. I'm a toddler. I have all these questions, and I'm not understanding. This, before you're born, one of your choices you have is how much of your previous life knowledge are you going to be able to retain in this life? Okay. Mozart was 98%, and he had worked in creative development in so many lives. That's the same with you. You're retaining a larger part of your creative life, your previous life development. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
or am I stammering and stuttering too much?
No. Now, will somebody know about their previous life when they come back again? Will they know that or not remember it at all? You know what I'm asking you?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're asking me. And my guides have told me several of my lives, and I don't remember them.
Yeah.
I was at one point I went and talked to a psychic. She told me some stuff about my dad that just rang true, brought tears to my eyes because my dad was no longer with us. My childhood with my dad was not the best. Without going into all of that, she said stuff, she mentioned he's with he has his cars, he doesn't have to work on them. And he wants to mention specifically a 65 GTO that's robin eggs blue. My first car that me and him started building when I was 14 years old was a 65 GTO, but it was dark blue. So this lady, this lady's on to something here. She goes, I do the hypnotherapy. Okay, well, I want to be I want to go through my previous lives, because they told me there's a thing called clearing a person, where you could be hypnotized. You go through all your previous lives, and it removes all your jam ups. Why you're scared of this, or you're afraid to do this, or you can't complete a project, and it can be done through hypnotism. But she couldn't hypnotize me. But apparently, people can remember the previous.
I had a friend of mine. Okay, sorry.
Well, I would say Kodi wants to share something too, really quick, and then jump in, Randy. So go ahead.
Okay.
This is as Gary was talking about the guides. So I don't know how much you know about like Native American culture, but some believe in spirit guides, right?
Yes.
So back to the peyote subject, the first time that I ever smoked peyote, I experienced something with a spirit guide, right? Somebody that I had never met before. And it turned out to be my uncle's father, right? So he was with me through my entire journey, I shall say. And I was seeing dead relatives, ancestors that I've never met before but have heard about. The list goes on. I could speak on this for days, but I'm just going to give you a short version of it. You keep mentioning guides, and that keeps bringing me back to that, right? So I have several guides that I believe are my ancestors. I don't know how you feel about that, but it's kind of the topic about the GTO, right? Like I have a certain thing for a 62 Camaro that I cannot explain. I know my grandfather had a 62 Camaro that was jet black, and it was built for drag racing. First car I ever driven. But I have a thing for a cherry red Camaro, and I see it all the time. Just on my way here, I seen a cherry red 62 Camaro, and I don't know how to explain why I see it. But it is a vision that I've had since I was a child. And some of my guides have spoken about it. So, I just wanted to give a little insight to that, into the guides and spirit guides and the correlation.
So let me ask you, Kodi, do you think you have a relationship with these NHI?
I believe it's in the bloodline. That might sound a little off, but
no.
My ancestry is Native American and Viking ancestry. So a lot of it has to do with paganism, or multiple gods as they believe. And so I firmly believe that what I'm experiencing, and a lot of it is ancestral.
So, they travel in not necessarily bloodlines, genetic lines, Tony. They go genetics back centuries, okay? But the reason I asked is this red Camaro that you keep seeing, okay? And I've seen these craft, we'll call them. People call them UFOs. I call them NHI craft. They could look exactly a red Camaro. We watched one night, me and a buddy of mine, the night we went through the missing time going from the Bay Area to Stockton. This was a flying saucer, and we're watching this thing, and it turns into like a cloud, and this thing turned into a yellow school bus in the sky. Sounds crazy, sounds nutty. Thing was a damn yellow school bus in the sky. It took me years later before I figured it out, and they pointed out to me, I should say, that I'm in school with them. Is basically what it is. That red Camaro could possibly be them. It could be a craft. I've seen them appear in the shape of a motorcycle. I watched one go from a flying saucer, stop with this beam going down to the ground and all this live looking stuff, and it turns to a cloud, rolls forward, airplane flies above. They can most definitely appear as a red Camaro. You see what I'm saying?
Wow, that really opened up to me in regards to like my fascination. It's funny, I didn't start playing drums till I was 19, but my aunt got me a drum kit when I was 3, and that kind of foreshadowed my life. And then I've always wanted to have long hair as a kid. My mom, the hairstylist that she is, would not let me have long hair. And now I've been stubborn having long hair. It's almost like I just love long hair. I just like to have long hair. I just love, the rocker look. And then I've always wanted a motorcycle. And I didn't get a motorcycle till 4 or 5 years ago. 5 years ago.
We were talking about that.
Yeah. But as a kid, I've always I want a motorcycle. Always wanted a Harley. And it's something that was just influence on me. And also, in addition to that, I was a guy in Catholic school. Again, Catholic school. I don't know if you guys remember the Scholastic pre-order books. Everybody's ordering Berenstein Bears or Bears, depending on what universe you're in. But I was the guy who would get some aliens and UFOs at 9 years old. It was just I'm just fascinated by this. It was fascinating like that. And it's funny, I don't know where the influence came from because it wasn't even in my family. We're very heavily Catholic beliefs, but that was my seed planted. So that's interesting when you say about the soul recycling and so forth like that. It's why am I interested in stuff that I just didn't have any influence on my life type of thing, So, yeah.
I do have a question for you guys.
Well, I'll tell you.
Oh, go ahead.
When I was growing up, Christopher, my dad was a redneck. Okay. He was you're talking Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard. And this is 60s, 70s. I used to literally cry every summer when they would give me a crew cut because I wanted long hair. I don't know. I was just like you. And to this day, I was just thinking about this a week ago. Why did it mean so much to me as a little boy to go into tears? And I would wear a hat. I was ashamed to walk around with this crew cut, So, yeah, it's deep-seated stuff in our psyche,
Randy, you want to elaborate?
No, but I was going to ask you. Did you say you they tried to hypnotize you and it wouldn't work? Did you say that?
Yeah. Yes, I did. They couldn't hypnotize me. The lady.
That's happened to me twice now. Last year I had a lady that she's seen Sasquatch. She comes here once in a while. She's a certified regression person and all that. It didn't work. It didn't work for me. I could not get because I wanted to have her to do that so I could see what the Sasquatch, the first ones I seen, because I've kind of lost what they looked like, the very first ones, So I wanted to be able to see that again. It wouldn't work. Finally, I said, this is not working. So I don't know why that is. I'm probably too hyper, I suppose.
That's kind of what I thought maybe was with me. Maybe it's you're not supposed to remember. Have you ever, are you religious? Catholic, Christian?
Lutheran, I believe in God and all that, but no, I'm not. Yeah, I am, but not really.
No, you're going to hell if you're Lutheran.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I'm Tibetan Buddhist. I'm Tibetan Buddhist, but I'm not strict Tibet. I'm Tibetan Buddhist. Okay, would be the closest that I could relate it to. I don't know if you've ever tried chanting and meditating. That may bring back these memories.
I try that meditating when I'm out in the woods there, and it lasts for about 2 minutes, and I said, I never really can do it.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's like martial arts. It takes discipline, but the chanting, and I got 3 chants that I do. If I'm just going to meditate, I do Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. I do it 108 times. That's the sacred number. You two being musicians, there's 3 of them I'll do. I'll do Om Mani Padme Hum 108 times. I'll do Om Namah Shivaya 108 times. Om Gung Gum Pute Nama 108 times. Then you do ROMs. You do rum, 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 really quick.
Yeah.
And that takes you into a very creative state. You whether you play guitar, drum, saxophone, you're going to play music and you're going to go, oh my God, where did that come from?
Really?
It's meditation goes back thousands and thousands of years. If you're ever interested, I could set you up with a meditation program, but I will do the Om Namah Shivayas and usually the Om Gung Gum Pute Nama, the ROMs, and then you do Oms. You go deep in, you breathe in deep through your nose, and Om, your whole breath. You repeat those. Well, it puts you in a different, the Om Namah Shivaya clears negativity away. And the Om Gun Gun Pute Namah, it relaxes you. It puts you in a state where it's going to allow you to go to a meditative state and stay there. Rather than you just going, okay, I'm going to relax. I'm going to clear my mind. Me, for one thing, I cannot clear my mind. My kid's mom, she used to laugh at me, and you can't clear your mind.
Not
So
very
what
good.
I do,
No.
what I do, I meditate, and I got this from a guy, Aaron Dowdy. He's on YouTube. You can look this guy up. His YouTube videos are phenomenal. It's more along the lines of what is this? It's like The Secret. You put it out to the universe, it comes back to you. But when I meditate, I don't try to clear my mind. Relax, let the thoughts come in, and evaluate what's coming in, because I'm going to learn what's coming in is coming from your higher subconscious, and you're going to learn from that. That's your true self.
I could do
self,
that. Yeah, that makes sense there. Yes.
So,
your true self may lead you through, like me, my life. I got a good friend that I was in his wedding, and he's just had his anniversary when I was 19. Smartest dude I know, marital family therapist, very intelligent. He told me a couple of months ago, he's all, Gary, most people would not survive what you've been through. And I've been through a lot. I think I've told Christopher, I've had guns to my head multiple times. I've guns in my mouth. I've been shot at.
Have you?
I've had, but your true self will lead you down your true path. Might not be fun, goes right back to you got to learn the bad with the good. You know what I'm saying? But your true self, whether you're meditating what's coming, it's not going to mislead you. It's going to take you to what you chose before you were born in that soul contract. What you
I agree with that. Okay, I got a question to ask you. Do you think I should go out? People are always saying, Randy, go get your saxophone. You got to go out there in the woods and play it. I've never done that. Would that be something worth me doing? Grab my sax and go out there and buy myself and play? Or that would
I would, and the reason absolutely, I would absolutely. And the reason I say that is because I think they're helping you to develop that creative side of you, right along with the higher mental. Just like with me, I mentally communicate with these people. Have told me, dude, you're crazy. You did the drugs. You did this. You did that. I can't believe a thing you say. You know, the drugs and all that to the side. You know, it's just like Kodi said. There's Native Americans, there's people that have used drugs to open certain parts of their mind. Mine, I think it was like Edgar Casey. I think it was a slam of my head into the bottom of a pool that opened, what do you want to call it, third eye, your pineal gland, whatever, you know, and maybe it's just previous lives of doing this. But yeah, absolutely, I would take that saxophone out there and play. What's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to scare some birds off?
Yeah, exactly right. Or my lip is going to get tired.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Kodi has a question or something he wants to share with you in regards to, yeah, go ahead.
All right, so it's kind of off topic a little bit, but it hits a topic of the NHI. Yeah. So, have you guys looked into Expanded Earth?
I haven't.
Okay, so there's a map. I forget what the map's name is. Sorry, I'm usually in bed by now. It shows you the expanded Earth, more continents than what we know of.
Oh, right? I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's what some call the ice wall, some call it the mountain ring.
I've been seeing that a lot about that and wondering about that.
Yeah. So I've done a lot of research into it, and I've seen that what we call Sasquatch originates from the mountain ring or the ice wall. Obviously, there's portions of it that's ice, there's portions of it that's mountains, forest, and so on. So you got the Yeti, you got the Sasquatch, and what we refer to now as NHIs, right? Obviously, you guys said that you guys haven't done any research into it. I would highly recommend looking into it. I'm not a flat earther. I just believe that what we see from space is just one face of our Earth, right?
I don't know, but I've been seeing a lot about it. Yeah.
Well, and two, it's not to take
Kodi,
away. It's not to take away from like the interdimensional, because it still could be potentially interdimensional on a different plane. A lot of people say that what do you call it? Like our ocean, right? If you were to grab a fish out of the water, like, what the hell is this? I've never been here before, right? Type of thing. And I'm wondering, again, we this is all theory talk, right? Yeah. I wonder if that's kind of the same mindset, that there's something on a different playing field that we're not aware of that we can cross over. I mean, if you look at Antarctica, it's a lot of protection where the governments around the world don't. Again, I'm not talking about conspiracy with just government in a way, but just But do you see what I'm saying? I mean, you look at Admiral Byrd talking about this and so forth, and that's the kind of thing I want that they just kind of talk about, because I don't want to discredit what we talk about when it comes to information, but like in that way, that there's something bigger than us, right? There's something like we're like, are we in a zoo?
Kind of what I was trying to get at.
Yeah. So.
Well, my take on this, and it kind of goes back to what we're talking about with the Nibiru. And if this planet is what they say it is, and it passes by in the way they say it's going to do, the gravitational pull, the Earth is, I think we all know, is floating on lava, the crust. It goes by and the gravitational pull picks it up, moves it, and drops it. So what this is going to cause is a change in land masses. I lived in Nevada for a while, and a couple hours from where I lived, there's a complete building that they built around a Plesiosaurus that was an underwater dinosaur. So the land masses have changed so many times on this planet. And Edgar Cayce, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Edgar Cayce. They called him the sleeping giant. Well, got hit in the head with the baseball as a kid. And he would sleep and his wife would interpret what he said. And he gave a map of what this planet's supposed to look like after this recycling. I don't know if that's the same, Kodi, or you're talking about before all of this, because land masses have definitely changed on this planet. It's all floating. It's all, malleable.
Interesting. All right. So, guys, go ahead.
I'm going to have to go pretty soon myself.
No worries. Yeah. What were you going to say, Gary, though? Go ahead.
What was that?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. What were you going to say? Anything else? Sorry about that. I am so sorry. No. Okay. Guys, we could go on forever.
We could, yeah. We have to do it again.
We definitely have to do it again. So what I'm going to do for you audience out there is I'm going to make this, because this is a long one, and I want to make sure that everybody gets all the information. It's a two-parter. And what did you do, Randy?
Terry just got home.
You got Bigfoot running around, aren't you?
Yeah. So, but I do gotta go.
What's up?
I've been expecting Sasquatch to put his face in your windows and back to you, Randy, the whole time we've been talking.
Yeah. But I want to talk to you again. I liked everything you were saying. This was a good one for me. I learned a lot.
And honestly, this is why when John and I were talking with Gary, we're like, we got to have Randy and Gary connect, because Randy's got a lot of things on this land, and Gary's got a lot of experience of what he's done. And I know you guys' personalities would click. Like I said, I'm the matchmaker, man. I don't know how it works, but I do. But you guys definitely need to talk and connect with each other.
We do, yeah, because I could have told you guys a lot more stuff. You know a lot of the stuff. I got a lot more I can tell you about them, what they've done with me.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 2-part series on this one. I'm going to release one this weekend, and then I'll release one the following weekend, so it gives people enough to digest what we've talked about today.
Okay.
And we'll definitely do another one for sure, because, like I said, there's the truth that, you know what, like, people need to really free think their minds. So the thing that's been lacking in our society is people free thinking. They just take things for face value, and they don't ask questions anymore. I think you guys can agree to that, right?
Yep.
That's important. Before we end this podcast, to make it really quick with you two, any last word from you, Randy, and from you, Gary, that you want to share with the audience before we end it? So I'm going to have Randy go first, and then Gary will go next.
It's going to be short. There are so many wrong opinions and theories on Facebook that I like to chime in sometimes, but it's really hard for me. And so a lot of times I don't say nothing. The truth needs to be told about what's going on. There's too much BS out there. That's way wrong. There's my little talk. I got nothing else to say.
You know,
Gary, go for it.
First thing I got to say is, Randy, I agree with you 100%. I feel like I'm fighting an uphill battle because I feel I got the truth. I mean, I've been faced a lot of people. You know, Kodi says it. He's experienced his guides. Everybody's got guides. I've been face to face with my guides in physical form. But that's not what I wanted to say. What I wanted to say may sound kind of cliche is, hey, man, those that you love, let them know you love them. Stay close to them. Because like with this red planet, you don't know, this could end tomorrow, man.
Yeah, I know. You never know. I agree with you.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah, because 3 years ago, a son got killed. Then the next year, my grandson got killed. Then my mom, and then my wife's son. 4 years in a row. Blom, 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 blom. So you never know. You're exactly right.
6 months.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that.
I can talk about it, though.
But you know what?
I can talk about it, but you got to keep going on.
Last thing then? Okay, last thing and I'm done.
Okay.
They went home. Randy, they went home. They didn't die. They went home. Right. We're all
the only ones that are sad are us. They're not sad. Heck no.
They're more alive than we are.
Yeah, exactly right. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
so,
goodbye.
All right. So before you jump off, Randy, everybody out there, thank you again for listening to Bound to Truth. Randy and Gary are just fantastical people. Love them very much. They're awesome. I'll definitely put their links to their Facebook, if that's okay with you guys, to really get to know you guys more and have some questions, reach out. And how you can reach Bound to Truth and have questions, comments, insults. If you want to take me on a date, it's all good. boundtotruth34@gmail.com. And then we're also on X, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Amazon, which is Audible, iTunes, and so forth. Yeah, and other platforms that you love and want to and like to be on. Other than that, everybody, we love you guys. God bless, and see you on the other side. Good night.